And now on the line is Punam Rane, a Fine Gael Councillor for Blanchardstown-Mulhuddart-Meakstown. Punam, welcome to the programme.
Thanks.
Hey Punam, this is my first interview with you. I understand that you were elected to Fine Gael County Council in 2019. Could you start off by telling our listeners on Cllr FM a bit about your background, please, and about how you are finding life as an elected councillor?
Yeah, sure. Not a problem. So I was elected in 2019 as a Fine Gael councillor in the Blanchardstown-Mulhuddart ward. It's been good since then, 2 years since I became a councillor. My background is in investment banking technology. So I come from a completely non-political background, but my interest has been towards helping community, trying to know more about education, trying to bring more awareness in STEM education in particular. So that's where I come from. And I was involved in lots of community activities, like encouraging more STEM education in the primary schools, and also lots of sports activities. I'm a runner myself, and I play basketball as well. So that's how I got involved in lots of community activities. And so far in the last 2 years, it's been very good, challenging because of the pandemic. But even in spite of the challenges, I think we did a brilliant job of lots of things that were delivered, whatever we could during the pandemic, and lots of issues that were addressed, especially in relation to antisocial behavior or any of the works that needed to be done.
Okay, cool. Okay, and the main reason we are doing an interview today is because you wrote an article in the Western edition of the Northside People recently advocating on behalf of saying that there should be a skate park in the Tyrrelstown area in northwest Dublin. Cllr FM covers the northeast city community, so most of our listeners today did probably not see your article. Can you fill them in on what you were saying in it?
Yes, sure. So, as I said, I'm a councillor in the Blanchardstown-Mulhuddart area, which pretty much covers the areas of Tyrrelstown, Hollistown, Hollywood-Rath, but also a part of St. Margaret's and Lanesborough, which is Dublin 11 and Meakstown. But and I have some focus areas there as well, in those areas where I'm trying to build parks that side. But to focus on what I have written and the motion that I submitted to the council, which was passed by the council, is to incorporate or install a skate park. And you may ask why? Because one of the things that I have found in that particular area is that this area has often been excluded from any of the major developments in the last many years, and that's what I find is the biggest gap. And also, I can see that lots of the estates are being built there. We are seeing that housing development, there are houses being built, but no facilities. So, and therefore I saw a gap of what can we give the youth community, also the demographics of the youth there, right, is changing. So this particular skate park will cater to pretty much everyone, and provide the facilities which are missing in those areas. I created or I did a feasibility studies behind this. I put a paper together. It was not only a motion, but I submitted a motion along with a paper with the feasibility studies as to what this skate park that I'm asking for and what kind it is going to be. And I looked at all the areas or across the country, like there are skate parks that are newly built in Skerries and Balbriggan, and therefore these were examples. But I also looked at other EU countries where skate parks of a bigger size were installed, and we have the area there, a large area in Tyrrelstown, Hollistown, and I think that that's a good size area that would cater to the skate park that I am working towards and I am asking for, because I also want this skate park to be a role model, a model which we can replicate across the country very easily.
I think it's a great idea. Tyrrelstown or Varadkar is one of your constituency colleagues. Have you spoken to him about your proposal, Punam? And can you tell me if you are confident in general that a skate park will happen?
Yes, because any of these ideas are always brought up with the higher authorities or the authorities who have the right to approve these kind of facilities. So yes, I did before even writing this paper or before even going ahead on saying this. I have already spoken to him, and I'm hoping I will get the support for this. And therefore, the number one task that I have, which is also going to be a major task for me, is to get support from the community, the residents of Tyrrelstown, Hollistown, Mulhuddart, those areas. So I'm trying to create a task force, which will, once I have the task force in place, which will then work with the Fine Gael County Council authorities in putting this in place. But yes, again, I will need support from as much support from my own constituency leader as well.
Okay, just a couple of more questions, Punam. One thing that a lot of people who rollerblade have an interest in also is ice skating and ice hockey. Would you be in favour of the state having a full-size, purpose-built ice rink like they have in Belfast?
One of the things that if people have read, right, there were 3 mantras that I had as part of my campaign. Number one was bringing more education awareness, because I feel education is the future of this country. Number two is sports, and number three is infrastructure. So I'm working towards all three of them. And in terms of sports, yes, as much as possible, I am going to try and find what gaps are there currently existing and not repeating the same facilities that already exist. I'm open to more ideas, more innovation kind of ideas, and why not? And skate park was one thing that I found that nobody had come up with this idea. Nobody even thought about this idea. And if there's something more that I need to do that will be taking to the next level, yes, I'm open to these ideas as well, because as it is, it's a cold country and we do get lots of winter months. Why not?
Yeah, I've interviewed Aaron Gully, the president of the Irish Ice Hockey Association, a couple of times. Last month they had a big campaign, you might have saw it in the media. Okay, Punam, to come towards the end of our interview, is there anything else you want to tell our listeners on Near FM about your work in general in Fine Gael over the rest of the year?
Yes, there are lots of program of works going on, which also means lots of roads are being fixed. Some of these things didn't happen in the last couple of months due to COVID, but we already have the funding in place. So most of the roads that require construction, those will be in place. Some of the facilities in terms of infrastructure, like the Snugburgh Road, those will, or the Churchfields Link Road, all these kind of projects that are pretty much in progress and had to be stalled will now continue once the restrictions are lifted. It's almost there, and we hope to deliver more of all these facilities. But also on the social housing side as well, there are more houses that will be delivered that are on target, and tenders are going out for them. So hopefully all those works that were stalled now will start kicking off again, and I think we will be on track again for this year. Fine Gael has done a brilliant job in the last 2 years, and we hope that as councillors we will be able to do that. And me myself, I know my focus areas have been some of these areas that I mentioned, and I will be working towards making sure that these areas get the facilities that they haven't got in the last couple of years, and those will be my focus, especially schools and sports infrastructure.